All right, guys, with that down, let's move on to this. It's a sad thing, but I feel like every couple of months, a new story comes out that kind of is another signpost on the highway of life that the role of physical media continues to die and continues to die out. This new one, after 18 years, Sony's recordable Blu-ray media production draws to a close. It will shut its last factory in February. They write the following. Sony has announced it will end its recordable Blu-ray disc media production in February, marking the end of its nearly 2-decade run. This end of production announcement also affects mini discs for recording, MD data for recording, and mini DV cassettes. I didn't even know they still made those. When I first got into like video and stuff like that, I had a mini DV camera. I didn't know they still made those things. Anyway, the company ended the production of recordable consumer Blu-ray and optical discs in mid-2024, indicating it would retain production lines for business and corporate clients until it became unprofitable. However, as the general public prefers streaming services over physical media, commercial sales have quickly become insufficient to sustain Sony's optical media business. All right. Now, the first thing that needs to be pointed out about this story is that they are not saying Sony is stopping making Blu-ray players, although they will soon, but they're still making Blu-ray players, and you will still be able to buy single-use like Blu-ray discs that have movies on them. But one of the big things about that physical media collectors like to do is to create their own discs. And Sony is the #1 world producer of recordable Blu-ray media. And now that's going away. Now, the two biggest Blu-ray making players in the world, companies that made Blu-ray players, have already gotten out of making Blu-ray. LG already announced that they are stopping production of making Blu-ray players. Samsung, which was the world's leader in Blu-ray player production, already discontinued making Blu-ray players. Oppo was one of the world's leading manufacturers of Blu-ray players. They are already out. The only two significant players in the game that still produce Blu-ray players are Sony and Panasonic, and both have kind of indicated that that may be drawing to a close at some point, as sales of all these devices continue to decline and go lower and lower and lower. But again, the media itself to be used for backups, burning, all that kind of stuff. You know, Jonathan, I remember back in the day, I would walk into Future Shop in Canada, kind of the equivalent of Best Buy here.
Oh,
Future Shop.
It's called Future Shop. I think Best Buy bought out Future Shop, actually. And walking in, when I would walk into a Best Buy / Future Shop, one of the very first things that always used to be right there near the entrance were these big giant spools of either blank DVD discs or Blu-ray discs.
I used to go nuts on those at Costco. I was like, yes, 500.
And then I realized I didn't use 498 of them.
Yeah.
But hey, I
there for
had
10
them.
years.
I had them. You know, a lot of people use that. The people who are really hardcore into physical media will use those to create backups. So burn the digital versions of the movies they have, backup stuff like that. So this is just the next thing of Sony now moving out. And once Sony moves fully out, because I believe before the end of this year, let's make a mark on this. We'll come back to this. I believe before the end of 2025 will come the announcement that Sony is going to stop production of their Blu-ray players as well. That's coming. They've already started to phase it out of their PlayStation machines, right? Like we've already seen that. They've already started that process. So yeah, and then it's only going to be Panasonic, and then Panasonic will be gone, and then the whole thing will be dead. It's unfortunate. And if you may not think that just ending the production of the re-recordable Blu-ray media is a big thing, think again. It's a really, really big thing to this whole stuff. Anyway, Chris, you see this minor road bump or yet another major sign that physical media is kind of on its way out? Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, PrizePicks. Are you guys like me, both a movie and a sports fan? Well, if so, then you know that the playoffs are here and it's now or never. If you love football and want to add some real excitement to the games, let me tell you about PrizePicks, the best place for your daily fantasy sports. So here's how it works. It's super simple. You just pick more or less on player projections. Think Patrick Mahomes will throw more than 1.5 touchdowns this week, or maybe Lamar Jackson will get over 250 passing yards. Make your picks in less than a minute and take your shot at winning up to 1,000 times your cash. Ann and I have been having a blast using PrizePicks every weekend. It's simple, it's fun, and it just makes watching the games that much more exciting. Plus, PrizePicks puts you first. With easy, fast, secure withdrawals, you can get your winnings in as little as 15 minutes, and they make deposits even easier. And right now, if you sign up today, you get $50 instantly when you play just $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. So don't wait. Download the app today and use the code CAMPEA to get $50 instantly after playing your first $5 lineup. That's right. Play for just $5 and you get a $50 bonus instantly. PrizePicks. Run your game.
I feel like it's another sign, which is so sad. We got to check on Rob. We got to text him. I am old enough that when I moved here to Los Angeles in 2013, I had to get those big spools of blank discs so I could burn all of my actor footage on it when I would do my cold submissions to agencies. And so that's how you had to get all of your media out. I mean, there's always pros and cons to certain things, right? It's nice, at least from an actor's perspective, that we don't have to do stuff like that anymore. We don't have physical headshots anymore. We don't have to bring physical media with us to show to an agent. We don't have to make those expenses. The downside is that art is going to be lost. At some point, I mean, it's already happening, right? With streaming networks where we see things they get removed from the streaming service and now they no longer exist and will never be seen again. And that's what I think is so sad when we see these little chinks in the armor coming around of, I think if you want to make your DVD collection physical, you should be able to. But I understand that companies don't want to spend that money. It's an issue of cost versus heart, honestly, for me. I get it. I get why these people are discontinuing things. I get why we're not selling Blu-rays anymore or Blu-ray burners or anything like that. I get it. But it still is it's just sad. It's a bummer that you can't physically hold a thing that you love.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I am somebody who moved away from physical media I want to say 10 years ago, maybe 6, 7 years ago, I moved away from it. But there are advantages to physical media that are undeniable, right? Like, to me personally, I think the advantages of not having physical outweigh the advantage of physical, me personally, but there are some undeniable advantages to physical, right? Like, for example, let's say you were one of the 6 people on the planet who liked Willow, the Disney Plus series.
Okay, I was like, I like the movie.
Yeah, not the movie. I mean, the Disney Plus series. Guess what? Disney Plus took it down. You can't find it anywhere. And if you had a physical copy of it, then you have it forever. And that's one of the, maybe streaming prices start to get to the point that are untenable. Well, you got your physical copy.
Right.
Guess what? Doesn't cost you anything every month to own that physical copy.
Exactly.
There are absolutely advantages to it. To me, the disadvantages outweigh the advantages. But I love the fact that friends of mine, including Rob, can have this big, massive physical media collection. Like, I don't want physical media to go away. I love it for people who enjoy using it. I just don't use it myself. And, when I point out, whenever we do these stories, I need to make clear, I am never saying that physical media should go away. Not at all. The question isn't should. The story is going away. Rob brings it up all the time. The declining sales of physical media are astounding year over year, how fast it drops.
Which means people that are physical media, like buffs, they have to obviously be dropping off as well for it to be dropping that much.
There are convert. It definitely means there are people who are very hardcore physical media that are converting themselves and not doing it. And with that happening, more and more manufacturers stop making the stuff. More and more manufacturers stop making the stuff. Less and less people buy it, and it becomes cyclical. So listen, there are still vinyl record players around. It's not a real part of the industry anymore, but it's still there. And I'm sure there will always be a niche part of physical media for people, but I think this is yet another big sign that niche is all it's going to be, probably in the next couple of years. I am curious, Chris, let me ask you this. I might have asked you this before, but what was the last Blu-ray or DVD you bought?
Ooh.
Got to think about it, don't you?
Well, I was gifted Muppet Christmas Carol. recently.
That's a good gift.
So that I could get the bonus feature of when the screen goes blank, the penguins come in and sing. But the last one I bought was probably World's End, the Edgar Wright film with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost.
Very nice. Now, the last piece of physical media I received was about a year ago. Rob got me this. My all-time favorite horror film. It is a laser disc, a remastered laser disc. Yeah, I keep this in the office. This is my all. Now, I unfortunately do not have a laser disc player, but Rob bought me this. My all-time favorite horror movie, American Werewolf in London. The last one I bought. Oh my God.
My last one was the 4K reissue of Talking Heads Stop Making Sense concert.
Ooh.
But what was the last movie you got?
Well, that was a movie.
that was a movie.
But
right.
I mean, it was a concert movie. But yeah. But then the last movie, like I can't remember.
You know, I can't even remember what the last one I bought was. It's actually kind of been that long. I mean, literally. Again, this is the stream guy. My entire movie collection, I have right on here.
I'd have to go.
I can. You know, I'm thinking about taking a train trip.
Uh-huh.
I'm actually thinking about taking a train trip across the country. I've been watching some videos on YouTube, and it looks like a lot of fun.
It is.
And guess
It's
what?
so
They're fun.
Yeah.
When I get on that train, I have my entire media collection
Yeah.
available to me right here.
You should do it. I did all the way up to Seattle from LA. It was great.
Oh, I want to do that one.
I'm thinking about taking it to Canada,
Oh, dang.
like to Toronto.
Yeah.
Like the 70-hour train trip. I'm thinking about taking it. Anyway, guys, the question is for you. What do you think about this? Sony now is starting to get one foot out the door of its physical media business. Do you think it's inevitable that it's all going to be out? I mean, LG's already out, Oppo's already out, Samsung's already out. The last two standing right now seem to be Sony and Panasonic, and Sony seems to be moving away from it. Whatever you guys think about this, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.